All right, welcome in. Jacob Cordero, CookwareJunkies.com. I've got Nathan here with me today. We've got instant read thermometers for you. We went out and, like always, we've rounded up all the top sellers, all the popular devices, and ran them through their paces. So let's just kind of give you a rundown of what we've got laid out here. We've got 11 of the top sellers, starting out with the OXO. OXO is a very popular line in instant read thermometers, and that comes in at the $20 price point. We picked up the ThermoPro. This one is actually top seller at Walmart, as well as a pretty good seller on Amazon, and it comes in right around $15. So that's definitely an affordable one, that we wanted to round up for you guys.
Definitely. Moving up here, we've got the Javelins. We have the Javelin Pro Duo. This one comes in at about $55. It's a pretty top range. Then we have the Javelin Mini here. It's smaller, obviously. This is $27, so basically half the price, and a lot smaller. Let's see if it.
Yeah, I didn't even know they made the Mini.
Yeah. Then we've got the Taylor here. The Taylor is a mid-price model, and it's got this nice display on the top.
Yeah, and then we move into the Maverick. Maverick, actually, these are both Mavericks. These are big-time top sellers in like the barbecue circuit as well. This Maverick here comes in around $40 to $50. This is they advertise it as their waterproof version. And then this is their commercial one that comes in at about $80 on Amazon. I think the retailer, or I think the wholesaler, is like $100. So that's what they would consider their commercial model. Then we picked up a couple of the other.
Yep. So we've got the Habor here. This is the discount one. Comes in at about $15.
Okay.
It's small. Let's see if it's effective.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Amagarm. This is another low-cost one, about $20 here, about $14 on the Habor back there. Similar style to the more expensive models. We'll see if it matches up.
Yeah.
Then we've got one of our longtime favorite brands, the ThermoWorks ones. We've got their smaller version here. This is the ThermoPop at about $35. And we have their signature ThermoPan, which comes in at $100.
That's what it was, $100, right?
Yeah.
So that one's got to be the Cadillac, right?
Yeah, this had better be worth it.
Okay. When we went to round these up, we found that there wasn't a whole lot of manufacturers in the game.
Yeah. It seems like there's a limited number of people out there that do both high precision thermometers and cooking at the same time, and I think we got them, pretty much all of them.
Sure.
All right, so to put these things through their paces, we tested them out for accuracy against a calibrated reference thermometer. We tested them out, and they were all pretty satisfactory. They were all in there down to within like a quarter of a degree for most of them in our 140 degree sample, with the exception of the Amagarm, which was about a degree and a quarter, and the Maverick PT55 at about half a degree. So they were all very satisfactory when it came to accuracy.
Yeah.
The bigger difference came in how fast they read.
Yeah, and I think that in an instant read thermometer, the name kind of says it all, right? So
Yep.
You're looking for something that's going to give you a quick and accurate temperature, and so that's really where the sweet spot was that we were looking for at the price point. So how quickly does it read? How accurate is it? That way, if you're trying to hold it over boiling water, or if you're out at the grill, we want to make sure that this is something that you have a good idea as far as how long you're going to be expecting to have that hand over hot water or over some hot flames.
Yep. So when it comes to instant read, this is where the ThermoPen earns its money.
Okay.
This read in about 2 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was fast enough that it was just enough time to actually get it in the water, get it positioned, and it was already showing the right temperature.
And that was ice test as well as the boiling water?
Yep, ice test, boiling water,
Okay.
and 140 degrees.
Okay.
It just snapped right on.
Okay.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, you have the Maverick Pro, which took a full 12 seconds to get all the way where it was going.
Now that one is close to the same price as your ThermoPen, right?
Yeah, this is $80 compared to the $100, but
Right.
it takes a long time to get where it's going. Now, it was comfortable enough to hold over the boiling water because it's got a long handle, but I don't know if I'd be happy holding this over the grill.
Yeah, now, and it's crazy because these guys are known for, in the barbecue circuit, and So I'm just trying to figure out like where the value would be, or what the reasoning is for the price point at $80 when even they sell the Maverick here at $50. And was the Maverick, did we find in the data, was the Maverick any worse or better?
Well, the PT55 was faster. We were getting readings that weren't quite as good in 5 seconds, which I'd rather have myself.
Okay.
Especially I'd like to have the other $40. But
Sure.
the Maverick had some issues when it came to the layout. All the buttons are pretty wonky, and there's a lot of them, and they don't like to really react. You know, it takes a second to boot up. It has a reset button, so you can reboot your thermometer because, oh boy, I've never wanted to reboot a thermometer in my life. I don't want to reboot a computer.
Now this one has the light button and the pause button as part of the same button. So
Yeah.
light/pause.
Yeah, so you press that pauses it
Okay.
and turns on the light. You press it again, that turns off the pause but keeps the light on.
Okay.
The usability on the Maverick PT55 is just not there.
Yeah, so you would rather, if price were the same on these two, you would rather go with this one that has absolutely no options and no buttons, because this one just doesn't really seem to get it right when it comes to the functionality part.
That's a tough call. I like the faster read, but the functionality on the PT55, it's just really awkward.
Okay.
Now at around that price, there are others that I think were a lot more usable. Like say the Javelin Pro here, that was 55, read in about 4 seconds. But this one here is a lot more straightforward. Turn it on. There's a button for screen backlight, and there it is.
Sure.
For a similar amount of money to the PT55, I find that a lot more useful.
Sure, and this is like a touch screen button where you don't actually have to like make contact directly all the way through.
Sure.
Sure. Okay, and then so what about our value guide? This is the guy that you can pick up at your local Walmart.
Yeah. You know, for $14 at Walmart, that is an absolute bargain.
Oh, the switchblade.
Oh yeah, that's got the switchblade for when you want to look cool.
Right.
But it reads in about 5 seconds, accurate to about 1/4 degree. The display is backlit and about medium size. The handle's long enough that it's not going to get in your way, and it's got a nice magnet, so you can hang it up on, like, say, your stove vent with it.
Yeah.
So for $14, you cannot beat that thing.
Sure. Now we move on to the OXO, which again, kind of sometimes the OXO is very superior.
OXO is usually a really good brand.
Sure.
But I find their electronics aren't quite as good as their just regular physical tools. This one here, it worked okay. It took a long time to read. The downside, though, it is not waterproof. We ran a test on that to see if it would hold up, and it didn't. The display filled up with water. And sometimes now it turns on, sometimes it doesn't, but you can't get that wet. And
it seemed to be kind of glitchy right out of the box.
Yeah, it had some issues.
So yeah, the OXO just not really going to be on our list for any kind of a top spot on this one.
Sure. Going down to the end, what are your favorites here?
Yeah, so I think that if the Javelin was a little bit cheaper, I would love to put that on like a value pick for us or whatnot, but it's like $54. So, I liked everything about it except for the $54, just because if you're looking at, let's say, when comparing it to the Thermopop, you're going to pick up the Thermopop for about $35, right, at the regular price.
Yep.
And it read quicker. It was a little bit more accurate.
Yeah, the Thermopop was a little more accurate, although with the caveat that the Thermopop only displays down to 1 degree intervals instead of a 1/10 of a degree.
Yeah, if you care about the 1/10 of a degree.
Yeah, so I mean, most of the time you don't care about the 1/10 of a degree, and a lot of the time that extra precision is kind of specious because you don't have the accuracy to go with it.
Now, how did it feel when you were holding that one over the boiling water versus this one, right?
Not quite as good.
Yeah,
it's a lot harder because you've got to get it. You've got to hold it a lot closer in.
However,
the nice thing is it reads in 4 seconds, so you don't have to hold it over there as long.
Sure. And having thought of that,
yeah, you got a little bonus help on that.
Sure.
That Thermopop is really good. It's easy to read. You can rotate the display. It's accurate. It's pretty fast at 4 seconds.
Sure.
That puts it up in the top tier. I mean, way behind the Thermopen, but it's
now,
for $35.
I've used the Thermopop for quite a while, and one of the things that I like about it is being able to clip it on.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so when you're running out to the grill or whatever, you're not looking for the thermometer constantly. You can just kind of pull it out. So that's kind of a nice feature with the pen clip.
Yeah, the Thermopop is really one of the winners here. I mean, that's a great price. It's a really good thermometer. That one's hard to beat.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they do it for $34.
Yeah. Now, I mean, on the top end, the Thermopen is really good. This is so much faster than everything else. It's accurate. It's easy to read. The display auto rotates to show you what you need to see. It's extremely accurate. It's super fast.
So it's kind of like if you want top of the line, you're going to have to pay for it.
If you want top of the line, it costs $100,
right.
And this is it.
Right. Okay, and so all in all, when it came to running them through our waterproof test, because that's one of the most important things, like if you get one of these and you happen to get water in it in the first day you get it, and it doesn't work like the OXO, we had the other one that didn't work in the water was the Taylor, as it's still dripping water out. And so we didn't really like do a serious submerge on these. We just kind of ran them
under the faucet.
Sure. So
that and the Amagarm here filled up with water. Although the Amagarm, the buttons don't work anymore, but the display's still working.
Okay, I'm not sure if that's anything notable, but
better than some.
But now our cheapos seem to be fairly water resistant, even though this one was pretty exposed on the back and it's wet on the inside. The Habor, and then also our Thermo Pro seem to stand up pretty well against the water for the price.
Yeah. All right. And so when it comes down to the final verdict, what do you like?
Yeah. So I'm going to say that Thermopop is going to be our value pick. This one's going to come in about $35, like we said. And for what you're paying for, you get all the accuracy that you want with the instant read. That's probably quickest of the bunch, except for the Cadillac, which is going to come in at that price point.
Yeah, the Thermopen is the best, and it's got the price tag to match. It does everything. It is screaming fast. It's super accurate. The display is great, and you pay $100 for that.
Yep. And then if you're looking, and it's more of a personal preference that you're willing to pay the extra $20 for the Javelin over, like, let's say the Thermopop, because the Thermopop slightly beats it in instant read and accuracy by a hair. But if you want something that you can kind of hold in your hand that is going to get you a little bit away from the flames or the boiling water, then the Javelin might be something that you might look into. Very simple, straightforward, works just the way you think it would.
Yeah, the Javelin's very easy to read. So if you have trouble seeing the small digits, you're gonna really like the Javelin there. And for our surprise pick for the super value buy, the Thermo Pro here. For $14, it's really good.
Yeah, and it looks like it stayed dry for the most part through the waterproof test.
Yeah.
Well enough to keep working, so that's pretty good for anything that's under $15.
Yeah. So, for Cookware Junkies, you've been Instant Read Thermometers. I'm Nathan Cram. This is Jacob Cordera. Like and subscribe to catch us next time around.